I am so happy to be here as the new Director of Communications. I feel like I've been a Texas Parks and Wildlife groupie for many years and a big fan of the agency's content. So it's incredible to find myself now part of this really talented team. Everyone has been so welcoming and just doing whatever they can to help me get settled. And so I really appreciate it. And so thank you, everyone. During just my first few days on the job, I realized that my understanding of what the agency does really only scratched the surface. And so in the next few weeks, I will be getting out of the office and getting out into the field to meet everyone, to see where people work, understand more about what they do, and especially understand more about how the communications division supports the great work of the agency and everyone out in the field. Because I really do believe that life is better outside, I want to tell you a little bit about a few of my favorite places. I'm from El Paso. I grew up in El Paso, and I love the mountains and the desert Southwest. And whenever I go home, I always make time first to eat some really good Mexican food, but then also to make sure I get out into the Franklin Mountains and do some hiking. And just recently, I discovered a new spot in El Paso called Lost Dog Trail. And there are some really fantastic walking and biking trails. And so I think I'm definitely going to make it back there the next time I go home. My sacred getaway places now and as a young girl is Cloudcroft, New Mexico. My parents have had a cabin there for many years, and it's definitely the place that I like to go to just unplug and hit the reset button. And during a recent visit, I was lucky enough to be in the mountains and see the aspens and the maples at their peak of fall color. And there's really nothing more beautiful than that. And I love Cloudcroft, and everything is better there. The food tastes better when you're there. You sleep better when you're there. It's definitely one of my favorite places. I love to hike, and I am lucky that I have a teenage son who actually likes to hike with me, so that I always have someone to hike with. And I've been a scout mom since he was in the 5th grade. So we've done a lot of camping and hiking and had a lot of crazy outdoor adventures. And a lot of those memories were made in state parks. So I'm very grateful for that. Professionally, I've worked in journalism and public relations for more than 20 years. I've worked in the private sector and for nonprofits. I spent some great years at the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center, which really just deepened my love for stewardship and conservation. In the last few years, though, I've become very interested in studying how organizations can strengthen their reputation and increase employee engagement by improving their internal communication systems. So I'm very interested in learning more about how employees across the agency, from headquarters to Honey Creek, how do employees get the information and the details they need so that they can fulfill the mission of the agency. So as I get out into the field, I'll be asking you more questions about that and really trying to understand that. It's definitely a passion of mine. Working for Texas Parks and Wildlife is going to be an incredible privilege for me because it means that I get to be part of making sure that the state's natural and historical resources are there for future generations, and that current generations learn about the importance and learn to fall in love with nature and being outside and protecting those resources. I really enjoy hiking and camping and cycling and swimming and being outdoors, but I did not grow up hunting or fishing. it just hasn't been part of my life experiences, but I feel incredibly fortunate that I know being at this organization, there are people who can teach me, and I'm eager to learn from them. And I know that I'll be getting out into the field and learning more about that. And as I learn about hunting and fishing, then I think I'll be better equipped also to serve the communications needs of those divisions and that part of the mission. So Clayton and I are already having conversations about the fact that I really need to get out and see some of the wildlife management areas. So I'm meeting with John next week, and we're going to put together a plan to get me out into the field and see some of those areas.